Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's a Sunday morning, a chilly Sunday morning here in Gauteng. Hope everyone's warm wherever you are. Some big news dropped yesterday just before the Champions Cup final. And maybe a little bit premature as well. But good to have these type of news and good to know what the rugby bosses are thinking of. Of course, there was huge meetings this week in London of the EPCR board, of the URC's board as well, and yeah, a lot of these behind the scenes meetings. World Rugby met this week as well, so a lot of these meetings took place, and we started getting trickle out some of the decisions that was made. One of the most interesting ones was the one about the World Club Cup or Club Championship. Now, there's been a debate over the years anyway about which is better, Northern and Southern Hemisphere. When South Africa was in Super Rugby, I think we all thought Southern Hemisphere rugby was better. Now that we're in Northern Hemisphere, I think we're realizing that the power of the investment and the professionalism of the Northern Hemisphere clubs, especially the French clubs, and what it does for rugby across the world. But it's going to be interesting to see those debates settled, if it's right. 2028 is the first World Club Cup. So let's go to EPCR Chairman Dominic McKay, who made the announcement, and listen to what he had to say.
Well, it's great to be in Cardiff this weekend to celebrate the 30th season of the Investec Champions Cup and the EPCR Challenge Cup. We've had some great discussions over this weekend talking about the future of our sport, but particularly some exciting projects that relate to EPCR. And one of those projects that we were speaking about is the Rugby Club World Cup. And the Club World Cup is something that we've spoken about EPCR for the last 2 or 3 years. We've been trying to work our way through that project to see if we can deliver it. And over the last few days, we've had great meetings with our board, great meetings with our General Assembly, which is made up of the 3 leagues, which is made up of our stakeholders from the respective unions. And everyone is unanimous about wanting to deliver a Club World Cup through EPCR. Well, the EPCR Champions Cup is the greatest club competition in the world, and we're going to continue to protect that, nurture it, develop it further, and we've got some ambitious plans for both the Investec Champions Cup and the EPCR Challenge Cup, which we'll unveil over the coming weeks. And to elevate the whole of professional club rugby, we want to create this World Club Cup proposition in 2028 and 2032 with our friends from the South. So whilst we've got these incredible competitions that we own and operate for the last 30 years, we want to find a way to elevate them a little bit further and bring in those teams from Australia and from New Zealand and from Japan, and we'll do that through the Club World Cup. So once every 4 years, starting off in 2028, we're going to bring the greatest clubs from the Southern Hemisphere to battle it out against the greatest clubs in the Northern Hemisphere. And who wouldn't love to find out who the greatest club is as a consequence of that? We're so excited about the project. Our stakeholders, our leagues, our unions are so excited about delivering a Club World Cup. So we'll share a bit more information during the course of the summer, and we'll do that with our friends from the Southern Hemisphere. But to reassure everyone, we've thought about this from a player's perspective, from a fan's perspective, and from the future fans' perspective. We believe the fans of the future want to see the greatest clubs coming together. They already see that in Europe and South Africa, so the Investec Champions Cup and the EPCR Challenge Cup. So we want to broaden the family a bit further, and once every 4 years create a World Club Cup, bringing the best from Australia, the best from New Zealand, and the best from Japan together. And it promises to be absolutely box office. So I couldn't be more thrilled that our stakeholders are supporting this, and we look forward to sharing more information with our fans and with the players in the coming weeks and months.
Now, one of the reasons why I'd say it's maybe a little bit premature to get all excited about this is because, well, first of all, where they're going to fit it in. I know there's ambitious plans and you have to start somewhere, but it seems from an article and report today that World Rugby, that Riaan Oberholzer, the CEO of SA Rugby, says it's a bit premature. So it's going to be interesting to see where they fit it in, what those plans unfold. Of course, there's some questions about this. I think Riaan's right in that rugby article in report where he says that it will force South African franchises to take the Champions Cup more seriously, because the way it's going to work, it looks like, is that the top 8 clubs, so those who make the quarterfinals of the Champions Cup, will be automatically qualified for that. And this year, no South African teams made the top 8 of the Champions Cup. Of course, you first have to qualify for the Champions Cup, and South African teams all were in the Challenge Cup after the pool stages this year. The Lions haven't qualified for the Champions Cup since we've joined URC, but that's a story for another day. But especially for the bigger 3 sides, the Stormers, Bulls and Sharks, there's certainly more incentive now to make the the Champions Cup and to do well. So yeah, the Bulls made the quarterfinals. I think the Sharks also made the quarterfinals, if I remember right. So yeah, there's certainly a lot of incentive there, and if you make the top 8 and you can go into those games against the Southern Hemisphere giants, Australia, New Zealand, and the Japanese sides, it's going to be interesting to see how they fare. But certainly commercially, there must be a case for this. The biggest question, though, about everything is just exactly when are they going to fit it in? Because at the moment, we've spoken at length on this channel about the global season and just how rugby just fails to get the global season together and to sort it out. You've got the situation, South African teams are playing 12-month season since COVID. So where are they going to fit this all in? So hopefully if this is going to happen, it's planned for every 4 years, probably between the World Cups. But if it's going to happen, we need to make changes to the global calendar, and I want to see what they're going to do with that. I think that's everybody's question. Certainly, there's a lot of nostalgia back to Super Rugby lately. I think there are some of us who do remember it fondly, seeing our ties with New Zealand and Australia, and it was always wonderful playing them. So it'd be good to see that happening again, and it'll be good to see this argument get sorted out once and for all. It sounds like from Dominique's video there that it sounds like it has been thought through, so we can only hope. And we can only hope they find a suitable time and suitable place for it, and that we can have this club. I'm not against it in any way. I just don't want it to see adding to a workload of already full workload for South African players. I think somehow we need to get the global seasons aligned before we're adding more competitions. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. I'd love to know your thoughts. What do you think of it? How do you think we'll do? Will we see who's going to get dominance there? And it'd be just interesting to see what happens there. So let me know your thoughts. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. There's a lot of more content coming through the season, so I'd love to have you on board. Cheers.